Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the element spread for 19. So we have the King of Fire, which is going to represent those of you who are dealing with a fire sign, so Aries, Leo or Sagittarius. Then we have the King of Air, who is going to represent those of you who are dealing with a Aquarius, Gemini or Libra. Then we have the King of Water, who is going to be representing those of you who are dealing with a Cancer, Scorpio or a Pisces. And then we have the King of Earth, who is going to be representing those of you who are dealing with an earth sign, so Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. Okay, so I just want to start by saying it's not gender specific, okay? It's just the cards I've chosen to use. So again, it doesn't matter, you could be dealing with a man, a woman, okay? It doesn't matter, it's going to represent your situation. Okay, Libra, so let's start shuffling your cards. So what messages can you give me for Libra dealing with fire signs for 19? Okay, so if you're a Libra dealing with a fire sign, very soon something is going to happen. Okay, so maybe this person has a decision they need to make about you. Maybe you need to make a decision about this person. But there's something very soon that is going to happen between you and this person. So what messages can you give me for Libra dealing with fire signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with fire signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with fire signs for 19? Okay, so there's definitely been some upset or some disappointment surrounding this person and surrounding this situation. Okay, so maybe you regret certain things about this person. Maybe this person has some regrets. It's like there's been a loss. There's a bit of sadness about you and this person. Okay, so what messages can you give me for Libra dealing with fire signs? Okay. Yeah, so maybe you had to make a decision to walk away from this person, and it's like, you're not happy about it, or maybe this person just sort of upset you so much that you had to get away from it all. What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with fire signs from 19? Okay, so here we have the Queen of Swords. So you're now starting to see things a lot more clearly, okay? And if there is a decision that needs to be made about this person, you're going to be able to make this decision with a clear mind, okay, with the Queen of Swords. So what messages can you give me for Libras dealing with fire signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Libra dealing with fire? Okay, there we go. The Queen of Wands. Okay, so you're getting your confidence back. It could be this fire sign maybe getting their confidence back as well. Okay, so maybe you had to choose between two different people. Maybe you had to make a decision about who it was you wanted to be with, or vice versa, and this is what's caused the disappointment or the upset. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with fire signs for 19? Okay, so there is some persistence here. So I feel like this fire sign, if you walk away from them, they're going to continue to persist with you. Okay, so with this person, it's like the battle isn't over. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with fire signs for 19? Librans dealing with fire signs for 19. Okay, so this fire sign, even though maybe you've walked away from them, you've decided to, do things with like a clear mind. You're definitely very clear-headed, and I feel like this person is going to pursue you, okay, because we've got the Queen of Wands and then we've got them persisting. Okay, so let me show you the cards. So the Queen of Wands is representing them, okay, because this is fire energy. This is you making a decision to walk away, and then this is them, the Queen of Wands. They're coming after you. Again, it's not gender specific, okay, so this could be a man or a woman, but they're persistent with you, okay, so they might come after you, but you're guarded. You're looking directly at this Seven of Wands, and it's like, okay, what do you want now? Why are you persisting with me? That type of thing. So even though you walk away and they chase you, it's like, well, Why are you chasing me? What are your intentions? In fact, that's a good question. What is this fire sign's intentions with this Libra? The Page of Cups. So they have feelings for you, okay, and maybe it took you to decide to walk away for them to realise how they feel about you, okay. And at the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Cups, so this could potentially be a soulmate connection between you and this fire sign. So I'm going to pull an oracle card. What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with fire signs from 10? What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with fire signs from 10? Assertiveness. So you do need to stand your ground with this person. Stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you really want to. So only allow yourself to connect with this person and only allow them to come back into your life if you want them, Libra, okay? You know, don't let this person walk all over you. You know, you need to stand your ground with them, okay? And don't be afraid to assert yourself. You know, and fire signs, they do like someone to assert themselves. They do like someone to stand up to them, okay? So, you know, don't be afraid to claim your personal power and to stand up for yourself, especially if you feel that you're in the right, okay? Because I feel like you're going to show this person new ways of thinking, you know, new ways of doing things and that type of thing, okay? So, yeah, so stand your ground, okay? Especially, again, if you know that, you know, you're in the right. So, okay, now let's move on to those of you who are dealing with air signs. So I'm just going to reshuffle the cards. Okay. Okay, bear with me. That's it. Okay. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? Okay. Past life relationship, you have known each other before, so this is someone you have a very strong connection with, okay? So this represents unfinished business between you and this person, so it's like, you know, a connection that's quite strong, okay? And, you know, if you believe in reincarnation and past lives and that sort of thing, you and this person most definitely could have had you know, previous lifetimes together. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? The Tower card, okay, so maybe this person comes back unexpectedly, okay? What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? The Knight of Cups, okay. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? The King of Pentacles. Okay, what messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? The World. Okay, clarification on the Seven of Swords. Okay, right. So there's something that's definitely happened between you and this person, okay? So maybe, you know, this person came back suddenly. So the clarification, so it's like this person not be lying, okay? The clarification is you looking over your shoulder at this person, you know, you don't trust this person. Maybe you did break up due to lies and then they come back. And now, because of this Seven of Swords energy, maybe you just don't trust this person, and it could be vice versa. So you're looking over your shoulder at this person, you know, like, I don't trust you, but they're coming in with an offer, okay? And with the King of Pentacles, I feel like, you know, this person is working hard on their career. This could also be you, but it's like, you know, they want to make you a solid offer. And we have the World. So I'm going to clarify the World. Clarification on the World. The Empress. Okay, so maybe some of you are going to start a new cycle with this person, and then you're going to be able to have growth with this person. So the World can represent endings, okay, but it also represents you getting clarity in a situation. So maybe once you get the clarification, you get that clarity and you start a new cycle with this person, that's when things can grow. Now also we've got the World, we've got the Empress, so maybe some of you are pregnant and are expecting to give birth. That's not going to be for all of you, but the Empress does represent pregnancy. The World could be you know, things come in full term, so some of you might have a successful pregnancy, but you know, more feel as though, you know, things from the past, you know, it's like a cycle, it's going to end now and things are going to start to grow between you and this person. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? Temperance. So things are healing between you and this person and they're going to come back at the right time. Okay, so if you are separated, then, you know, this person is going to come back spontaneously and it's going to be like perfect timing. So some of you as well, if there has been lies in the past, it's healing. This situation is healing and you're going to be able to start a new cycle with this person. Okay, so I'm going to pull, in fact, I'm going to put these away and then I'm going to pull a oracle card for Libras who are dealing with air signs. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with air signs for 19? Yes, so the situation is going to heal. Healing, healed, healer. Healing energy surrounds you in this situation. So, you know, this suggests to me that there's definitely been problems, you know, and you're nearly at the light at the end of the tunnel and another sign had this. So I really like this card, you know, it just means that things are healing and it's almost like a clean slate between you and this person. Okay, so it is looking really, really positive. The only thing I can see is that one of you is really guarded. Okay, so now let's move on to those of you who are dealing with a water sign. So let's have a look. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs for 19? Okay. Calling in your soulmate, your prayers, affirmations and visualizations help bring you together. So there's a soulmate connection between you and a water sign. Some of you may have a new water sign come in and they could be a potential soulmate. Okay. Some of you have distance from a water sign, but you know, you're bringing this person closer to you. What messages can you give me for Libras? Oh. What messages can you give me for Librans? Oh goodness, okay. Right. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs for 19? Okay, so the Page of Pentacles came out in reverse, okay. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs for 19? So we have the Six of Cups, so there have been a lack of opportunity between you and this person, okay, but it's like, you know, this person is really thinking about you. They're thinking about the good times that you and them had, or this might be you, you know, feeling, you know, like nostalgic in a way, you know, and reflecting back on the good times that you and this person had. But I feel the problem with this person is it's like they don't learn from their mistakes with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So the Page of Pentacles, she's like a student, okay? So, you know, she's ready to learn. So maybe this person hasn't learned. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs for 19? The Wheel of Fortune. So this person could be returning and it's like this time you and this person stand a better chance with the Wheel of Fortune in the upright. What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with water signs for 19? What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs? Okay. Yeah, so the Ace of Swords. So some of you are going to get the truth from this person, or you're going to communicate with this person. Maybe this person as well, if they've not learnt from mistakes in the past, maybe this time they've learnt a new way of thinking with the Ace of Swords, because it's all about perception and new ideas and new communication. So things are going to turn around and maybe, you know, you get the truth about this person, or they start to communicate and actually learn from their mistakes. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs for 19? The High Priestess. Why is the High Priestess here? maybe you're over this situation, but you're not telling them how you really feel. So maybe you feel like it's kind of over with the death card, okay? But it's like, you're holding it in, you're not telling this person how you really feel. So maybe to you, you feel like it's over, but, you're not telling them that. But there's communication. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with water signs? 14. The King of Wands. So, okay, clarification on death. We have the Ten of Cups. So maybe you've... Right, okay, so the death card does also deal with transformation. So maybe you've changed how you feel about this person because we've got the Ten of Cups. So maybe this person just doesn't make you happy anymore, but you are keeping it to yourself because with the King of Wands, it's like, you don't want to hurt this person. So I feel like your feelings towards this person have changed, despite the communication, despite whether the fact they've managed to maybe again learn from past mistakes and take on new ideas. And it's like maybe this, it's like your feelings have changed towards this person, but you're holding it in because, with the King of Wands, he's confident, he's charismatic, and you don't want to hurt him, or her. Okay, so I feel like, there will definitely be communication, and this person is definitely coming around, and there is a soulmate connection. So another way of looking at it as well, actually, it could be that maybe you thought your feelings for this person were gone, but then they resurface, and maybe that's when the Ten of Cups energy kicks in, and maybe, you start to think that you do have feelings for them. So it can go either way, but they're definitely resurfacing. So now let's move on to Libras who are dealing with earth signs. So what messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs? 17. Librans dealing with earth signs, 17. Okay. Separation. So some of you might be experiencing a separation from this person. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs? 17. The Fool. Okay, so there's going to be a new beginning between you and this person. So if there has been a separation, this person could be returning, or there's going to be a new start, or this could be somebody new that comes into your life. Okay, what messages can you give me for Libras dealing with earth signs? 14. Yeah, the Ace of Swords. So this person is going to take a risk and communicate with you. Okay, it could be vice versa. Maybe you're going to reach out to them. It could go both ways. What messages can you give me for Libras dealing with earth signs? 14. The King of Cups. So this person's going to tell you how they feel. They're going to communicate their feelings. This could be vice versa. So maybe you're going to communicate your feelings to them. Okay, but the King of Cups, I feel like this person's going to be truthful as well. Okay, with the King of Cups in the upright position, they can be quite trustworthy. And with them landing on top of the Ace of Swords, you're going to get trustworthy communication. Or maybe you're the one that's, telling them the truth. Maybe you're being honest with them. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs? 19. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. So this person is rushing in towards you. Okay. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs? 14. With the Devil. Okay. Why is the Devil here? Ten of Pentacles. Okay. I would be just a little bit cautious. Yeah, okay, they might be honest with you. However, there's still something that's not quite right. I don't know if this person has the potential to be quite flighty in the sense that, they're in your life and then they're out of your life. The Ten of Pentacles as well. Okay, I don't know if maybe you two are just, it's like, if it's not they're here 1 minute and then they're gone again, it could be that this person keeps coming back to you, and it's like, it's like you give them some sort of stability and they're, okay. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs for 19? The Chariot. So this person is going to be really, really determined with you. So what I feel is this person is rushing towards you. Okay, they might have some issues because That's the devil's energy here with the devil card. So this person, yeah, so maybe this person does have issues. This could be Capricorn's energy as well, but it doesn't have to be Capricorn. It could be a Taurus or a Virgo as well, okay? But this person does have issues. And we've got the Ten of Pentacles as well. So this person could have issues with commitment. They could have issues with stability, money issues. Now the Ten of Pentacles can also represent commitment. So maybe this person that's coming towards you, maybe they're potentially, and this won't resonate with all of you, but maybe potentially they're already committed. So, but for some reason they're determined to move this situation forward. So I do see it moving forward, but the question is, what are you moving forward with? Who are you moving forward to? Okay, so I would just be a little bit cautious around this person. Okay, so you know, even if they're truthful, if you know, even if they tell you how they feel, there's still issues. There's still issues. It could also be control issues, you know, because a Chariot represents control as well, you know, and the Devil represents that as well. So maybe this person, they come to you and they're just quite controlling. So take what resonates with you on that one. So now I'm going to pull a Oracle card. What messages can you give me for Librans dealing with earth signs from team? Okay. Express your individuality. Allow your true self to shine because you're awesome. So, you know, don't hide who you are. Don't conceal yourself. You know, express yourself. Be who you are. You know, because Librans have such a beautiful energy, you know, so let it shine. So, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if you would like a private reading, all the information is in the description link. So I'll speak to you soon. Bye, Libra.